Just about 5:35, and today marking 2 years since it was announced the first Connecticut resident testing positive for COVID-19. It has been a long 2 years since then, with close to 720,000 cases recorded to date and more than 10,000 deaths. That in Connecticut alone. We are marking this milestone with team coverage this morning. Fox 61's Angelo Bavaro joining us in studio to show us how the numbers, well, Angelo, they don't tell the whole story here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Keith. And throughout this pandemic, we've been so focused on those numbers and the data here. We've sometimes watched in fear as those numbers climb, but today we watch those numbers with hope as they trend in the right direction. Either way, though, they reveal lessons we have to learn from in order to move forward. All the unknowns of March 2020, amid lockdowns and long lines at testing sites, were made even more scary for Vincenzo Scotta, who caught COVID at the start of the pandemic.
Like nobody knew exactly how it was affecting people. It was more like on TV, we were seeing deaths. We weren't seeing like recoveries.
In December 2020, the rest of his family caught COVID. Everyone's okay now, but his mom had it especially bad for about 3 weeks, with low oxygen levels and breathing troubles that required hospital care.
But then there comes a point in time where the hospital, they had patients that were so much more sick. They were so much more sicker than my mom, and they could stabilize her, and then they just called us to pick her up and send her home. The hospitals were overwhelmed at that time.
In the hospitals, Dr. Syed Hussain has been on the front lines of the fight against COVID-19. He's the chief clinical officer for Trinity Health of New England.
There was very little data on managing this virus. Testing was limited.
That changed with time. Increased testing, vaccines, and therapeutics have helped Connecticut get COVID under control and prepare for another potential surge.
With vaccination and therapeutics, I do believe we will be able to better manage this virus, just like we have with the annual influenza. Are we there yet? Not so much yet.
Still, Connecticut is looking ahead with cautious optimism, reflecting on all the stories of the last 2 years.
It takes a toll in terms of human suffering that we've seen, that our colleagues have been exposed to. Families that have not been able to see their loved ones during their last moments. All of that takes a toll.
And we talk about that toll right there. Well, a study released by the World Health Organization just a few days ago found that the pandemic triggered a 25% increase in the prevalence of anxiety and depression across the entire globe. So, Keith, really just surreal, kind of crazy to think about the past 2 years, where we've been, and hopefully we're on the right track.
Yeah, and 2 quick points, Angela. You have driven our coverage largely over the course of the last 2 years, so my hat is off to you on that front. Great hard work there. And Dr. Hussain has been by our side for 2 years, walking us through this pandemic. Whenever we've needed him, we pick up the phone and he's there.
They're the people we rely on, Keith, yeah.